Let's begin. It's the win. Listen, laugh, and learn and understand. Hope, believe that you can. It's the Women's Information Network. It's the win.
Welcome to the Win Show. We are so glad you joined us. I'm Paula Fellingham, CEO of the Women's Information Network. It's thewinonline.com. We're the online home for all women, all ages, a community of women helping women. Our hosts are Heather Anderson. She's a runner-up for Miss USA. Laura Lee Christensen is the Executive Vice President of the WIN. And Kim Coles is an actress, comedian, and speaker. Our guest today is Dr. Beverly Smallwood. She's a psychologist and speaker for over 25 years. Has worked with organizations around the world to create positive and productive workplaces. She's the author of This Wasn't Supposed to Happen to Me, where she reveals the 10 secrets of resilience. We want to know the 10 secrets of resilience. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, now your show is called The Magnetic Workplace Show.
Yes, it is.
I want to know what you mean by magnetic.
Well, that's a brand that I've been using for quite a while because it's a metaphor for what I think needs to happen in workplaces, and that is we need to have the kinds of workplaces that attract, energize, and keep the best people.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're all about creating.
I love it. So how do you do that?
Well, one of the things that is very, very important in a magnetic workplace is that everyone, including the leaders, especially the leaders, needs to stay energized for the task. And I believe that what happens with the leaders in an organization, of course, affect all the rest. And so a magnetic leader is one who can attract people to the tasks that matter the most and can bring about the kind of energy that keeps them energized and motivated to do that. They do that through positive coaching and especially through setting the right kinds of examples. And then that helps folks to want to stay with the organization. Now, leaders are not just those in the position with the name of leader, but they're people of influence throughout the organization. So there's no one that could possibly be watching the show that doesn't have that kind of potential and that doesn't have that responsibility for attracting, not repelling.
Attracting, not repelling.
So if someone has a suspicion that they're just sort of a garden variety leader and not a real magnetic leader, what can they do? How can they move themselves from that to this fabulous vision that you have?
Well, you know what? I think what I just said in terms of attracting and repelling, it's a very important concept that every single interaction with whoever you're interacting with, whether it's a customer, a coworker, a boss, is a magnetic moment. And it will either attract or repel.
Well, I want to learn how to attract and not repel.
Nobody wants to repel.
Who would ever repel from you?
We'll probably give you a list, but we won't go there.
Exactly. Well, you know what? When you think about it, we like to be around those people that when we're in their presence, we feel good about ourselves.
Yes,
And
like
so,
you. Absolutely.
Thank you. But every single interaction is an opportunity to connect with someone and bring out the best in them. Find the strength in that person and call it forth. And if there's something that needs to be corrected, yes, you're courageous about talking about it, but you do that in a way that's respectful, and you do that in a way that has very specific actions in it that you're requesting, and it's a mutual win.
Oh, I love that. Oh, pun intended.
There you go.
Let's talk about these times that we're in right now. There's a lot of financial challenges and companies cut back. What are some strategies for keeping that magnetic energy going even when, maybe the guy on top is spending less money?
Yes.
To make the situation comfortable, I would say.
Yes. People really are being asked to do more with less, and it's easy to get overwhelmed with that when you're just thinking about all the things that you have to do and how will I ever get it done. But really the key is to figure out what am I doing right now, what's most important to do, and focus on that. In my book, one of the secrets of resilience is focusing on responsibility instead of victimhood. It's easy to get going with that whole pity party about how much you have to do, but that repels people, and it certainly doesn't get
Let's
things
show
done.
the book. This is a good segue.
That
There we
wasn't
go.
supposed to happen to me.
Right. but the alternate choice is that of responsibility, and this is a very important definition for everybody to remember, and that's doing all you can with all you have where you are right now.
Ooh, I like
All
that.
you can with all you have where you are right now, 4 pieces. And when you're doing that, guess what? You're not feeling powerless. You're not feeling out of control, but you're zeroed in on what you can do right now with what you have. Not what you wish you had, not what you used to have.
Well, you spend
but
so
what you
much
have
time
right now.
wishing, oh, well, if I had this and this and this, then I could do
An
all of that.
ideal
But then
world.
you're not doing anything.
No.
You're
That's
wasting
right.
your time being negative. So I love
Good.
that.
So,
So
do
where
you
are
tell
you right
stories and this wasn't supposed to happen to me?
Oh, absolutely. We certainly tell stories, and some of those come from the workplace, which we'll certainly be using on the Magnetic Workplaces show. But many of them are for all of us go through those times of disappointment and setback, so that we have to be able to pick ourselves up. And certainly the book is chock full of stories, and so will the show be.
So one of the challenges with work is that there are always transitions. There are things changing all the time. How do you
Yes.
deal with that?
Yes. Sometimes we say people are resistant to change, but really it's not change so much, but it's that transition process. It's that internal psychological readjustment to the change. And there's some stages of that change, and the first 2 are the most difficult. One is making endings. Usually that's what really we're resisting, is we're resisting letting go of what was, and we fear the unknown. We're afraid to reach for what, better the devil you know,
Yes,
even if it's not so
that's
good.
exactly- that's true.
So we can stay stuck there. And then the
that.
second stage is the wilderness, when you're kind of going through and you're confused and you don't know what to do next, and you've kind of let go, but you really don't know what you're going to do. And those are very confusing times. So it's really important that people understand why we're doing the change, what's the purpose of it. Secondly, what's it going to look like? What are we headed toward, and how's that going to be a benefit to us? And then third, how are we going to get there? And then most importantly, what is my part in that? How am I going to contribute to the change? And once people realize that I do have the competency to do it, I can do it, and I have to move forward, then that's when it's
Those
easier
are
to
powerful
do.
points for a leader, guiding
Absolutely.
an organization through that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, that transition communication. The other thing is people are much more adaptable to change when they feel involved and engaged. So giving people some input about how this is going to affect your area and what will you do differently. And
Talk
then
about
finally,
it. Let them
Very
be
good.
part
Really all
of
about
it.
be a part
communication.
of it, get their ideas. And then the third thing is to have some rituals and celebrations that allow people to let go of what was. Once I was working with a chemical company, and they were tearing down a part of the old plant, and they had a big celebration. They called people in, and even the retirees, and people brought pictures, and they made displays on the wall, and
They kinda had
had
closure.
a tour. Everybody got a piece of the old steel to
Next
take
time
away.
I break up, I'm inviting all my ex-boyfriends. I'm showing pictures. That's going to be fabulous.
It's a nice little
I like it.
Closure on it.
Closure.
Let
There
me
we
ask
go.
you about another hard thing that leaders have to deal with, and that's conflict.
Oh, yeah.
When you have a conflict, is it always bad? And what are your tips for handling it?
Well, you know what? Conflict is really not always bad. It's just a matter of how you handle it. As a matter of fact, it can bring different ideas to the table. It can bring people together and allow you to kind of challenge those things that you assumed were the way to go. So having that mutual win, pun intended, that we talked about, and really attacking the problem and not the person. Those are key ideas.
Oh my goodness, we
You
have
are-
loved
she's just
being with
full
you. She
of
is
information.
absolutely and
What a
passionate about her
treasure,
subject.
yeah.
I love this. Thank you,
Thank
Beverly,
you.
so
It's been
much.
a pleasure.
Your show is
Pleasure
gonna be
to with
fabulous.
you.
Absolutely. And we invite you to go to thewinonline.com, where you're always going to get solutions, share ideas, and really connect with wonderful women like Beverly and others worldwide. Now let's live joyfully with passion and purpose. Have a wonderful day. See you next time.
It's the Women's Information Network. It's the win.